Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this info session, and we will give everyone a few minutes to join the call. As business owners are filing in here, today we'll be discussing the City of San Antonio COVID-19 and Construction Impact Grants Program. I already see some attendees with their hands up, so you're welcome to post those questions in the Q&A section of this chat. And this session will also be offered in Spanish, and we'll share the instructions to make the session to listen in Spanish in just a moment. Okay. We'll give everyone just another minute and then we'll get started. Okay. Well, as I said, welcome. We're so glad that you all are joining us today for the third and final info session on the City of San Antonio's COVID and Construction Impact Grants Program. This session is a bilingual session, so it will be offered in Spanish. If you'd like to listen in Spanish, please select the interpretation button that looks like a small globe at the bottom of your screen and pick Spanish as the language of your choice. And then you may want to click mute original audio.
Sesión bilingüe, instrucciones de audio. Escuche en español. En los controles de la reunión o el seminario web, haga clic en interpretación. Haga clic en el idioma que desee escuchar, español. Para escuchar solo el idioma interpretado, haga clic en silenciar audio original. Esto es opcional.
Thank you. So my name is Lilian Spenley. I am the Grant Programs and Operations Manager here at Lift Fund. So I work on all of the wonderful grant programs that we've been offering over the past 3 years in partnerships with cities like the City of San Antonio. We are so pleased to have this longtime partnership with the city. Lift Fund has worked with the city to provide small businesses in San Antonio many resources over the years, including a 0% interest buy down program for the past few years on loans, several grants since the start of pandemic in 2020 for businesses that have been impacted, including one just last fall, and then also business education and support or business resource center in the form of our Launch SA business center. And so I'm very pleased to have with us today Caitlin Cowart from the city and the Economic Development Department. Caitlin?
Yes, hi, and good, morning, afternoon, just now afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for being here as well to learn about the program. We recognize that many small businesses like yours have been faced with challenges as a result of city-initiated construction projects, and in fact, that it's prolonged economic recovery from the pandemic. Last month, City Council reallocated $2.25 million of the city's ARPA small business funds towards this program. And just last week, they actually added another 1.49 million to the program. And so the entire program budget is now 3.74 million. Last year, we worked with Lift Fund to offer the COVID Impact Grants Program. Some of you may have applied, you may have even received funding from that program. It included a $10,000 construction supplement, and we awarded that supplement to 135 businesses. And overall, we awarded 521 total grants to businesses. You are still eligible to apply for this program if you receive funds from the previous, but Lilian will explain a little bit more about that. And I just want to thank Lift Fund. Thank you, Lilian, for all that you do in the partnership and organizing these sessions for us. We're also working with community partners such as San Antonio for Growth on the East Side, Centro and Prosper West. They are out there helping us with targeted outreach to businesses, and also they're providing technical assistance. So we'll share their contact information a little bit later in this webinar. But I'm going to hand it back over to Lilian. You're in good hands, and thank you again.
Thank you, Caitlin. So we'll start going through. We're going to cover all of the eligibility criteria for the program, show you what the required documents are, kind of give you a timeline of the 4 different phases of the program, and then give you a tour of the website where you can find all of the information that we're going to cover right now. So as Caitlin mentioned, the fund was started at 2.25 million. It just got increased to 3.74 million as the city really recognizes the great need that's out there for your businesses that are in these construction areas that are city initiated. The grants will be somewhere in the range of 10,000 to 35,000. And the application period actually opened last Monday on the 13th, and it will remain open until next Tuesday. So you guys, everyone has one more week on February 28th, and it will close right at 5 p.m. So please be sure to make a note of that 5 p.m. cutoff. The application must be submitted by 5 p.m. So not just having started it before then, but actually having hit the submit button to get it over to us. And, you know, it's 5 p.m. versus 11:59 p.m. So wouldn't want anyone to miss out on that opportunity. Then once the application closes, Lift Fund will review all of the applications between March 1 and mid-May, so about a 2.5-month review period. The first notifications will begin to go out in mid-March for those, the first round of applicants that are selected, but notifications will continue all the way through the end of May. So as we'll discuss in a little bit, there is a scoring system to this program. So those with the highest scoring applications will get reviewed and notified and funded first, followed by those with the lower scores. So it's an ongoing process. It's not everyone, you know, all at once at one time. And then lastly, the most important part, when the money comes, so the funding into your bank account, if you're selected, will begin at the end of March and continue through early June. And again, that's going to be in order of those with the highest application scores receiving the funding first. The website, which you'll see here on every slide in this presentation, is COSAConstructionImpactGrant.com, and we'll go through that site together as well at the end. So if you're selected, the funds do need to be used for business-related expenses. So that can be a wide range of uses, so payroll, healthcare, contract labor, you know, general working capital, business rent or, mortgage or utilities, as long as that's for a business commercial location. So if you are a home-based business, you may be eligible, but you would not be able to cover your home, rent or utility payments with the grant funds. It could also be used for, inventory, equipment, payments to vendors and suppliers. All of those are totally acceptable expenses or uses of funds. The award amount that will be between $10,000 and $35,000 is going to be based on the reduction in your net sales between 2021 and 2022. So the qualifications, the eligibility requirements for this grant are that you must be a retail or service industry business, either with a storefront location that requires customer foot traffic to your location in order for your business to operate or for sales to happen, or if you can demonstrate that customers physically visit your business location, such as, a food truck, or in some cases, a home-based business. The gross sales in 2021 must be at least $10,000. In addition to that, the 2021 net profit or loss needs to be at least $10,000 more than your 2022 net profit or loss. So we need to see a drop in your net of at least $10,000 between 21 and 22. You must have been operating since at least January 1, 2021. You need to still be in operation, still have your doors open, and not have filed for bankruptcy right now at the time of the application, and if applicable, be in good standing with the Texas Comptroller's Office. All of the applications will be reviewed based on both the information that you state in the application and verified with the documentation that you're asked to provide. In addition to the eligibility requirements that I just mentioned, you also need to meet the SBA size standard for a small business, and we'll show you how to look up and verify if you're within that size standard when we look at the website in a little bit. You need to be the majority owner of the business, and nonprofits, gambling, sexually oriented businesses, and payday and auto loan providers and liquor stores are not allowed, as well as businesses in which a city employee has a financial interest. There's just a very limited number of industries, these that I just mentioned, that are not allowed, and we'll see that list on the website, excuse me, in just a little bit. So the documents that are required, it's a very short list, just 6 items. So your current driver's license or government issued photo ID. So that might be an EAD card, it might be your passport, it might be your matricula, it might be your state Texas ID. As long as it's valid and current and hasn't expired, we can take any of those forms. We'll then need your business registration with Bexar County Clerk's Office or the Texas Secretary of State. So that's your DBA or assumed name certificate, your certificate of incorporation or formation. And those are the forms of registration that we'll need to see. So please do not submit your sales and use tax permit or your EIN letter. Those are not going to be the documents that we need to verify your business registration. Also, please, if you have an assumed name certificate, check it today. You can look up your DBA on the county clerk's website. Make sure that it hasn't expired. Assumed name certificates are typically good for 10 years. So please check today and make sure that yours is current. If it has expired, you're welcome to go ahead and renew it now, and we'll still consider it. But definitely want to get that process going. Next, we'll need your your payroll information to verify the number of employees that you have. So that could be your third quarter from 2022, either a 941 if you file those with the IRS quarterly, or just any payroll report that you generate through your accounting or bookkeeping system. Next, we'll need a business utility bill. Excuse me. If you don't have a utility bill for your business location, maybe all of your utilities are included with your lease, we're perfectly fine to take a copy of your lease or a monthly rental invoice that you pay if you're paying, if you get that in place of the bill. Then we'll need a copy of your 2021 filed business tax return. And then for 2022, if you have your filed return already, that's great. If not, we know the deadline hasn't passed yet. So we're happy to take a profit and loss statement in place of the tax return for 22. Or if you have your stated return so that you've prepared it, but it maybe just hasn't been submitted yet, we can also take a copy of that. As far as the scoring goes, as I mentioned, all of the applications will receive an application score, with the highest scoring applicants being reviewed and considered first. The score is based on 4 factors. So those 4 factors are the reduction in net profit or loss between 2021 and 2022, with the applicants who have the greater amount of net loss during that time receiving more points in this category. Then the percent of the SBA size standard. So the closer you are to matching the maximum on the size standard for your industry, the fewer the points you would receive in this category. So essentially, the smaller your business is, the more points in this category. Then third, the Equity Atlas score. So if your business is located in one of these historically underserved neighborhoods within the city, you'll receive more points. And then lastly, the duration of the construction project that is impacting your business. So the longer that construction has been going on, the more points you would receive. And we'll see here a more detailed breakdown of that information I just shared. So I'll leave this for a moment for you all to look at. You'll also be able to see all of this information on the website. So within each category, there's a maximum of 30 points available. So the total, the highest possible score an application might receive is 120 points. So how do you get to the application? So if you go on the website, again, that's COSAConstructionImpactGrant.com, you'll see right at the top a button to apply now, and that will take you to the application portal. It takes most people about half an hour to an hour to complete the full application. You can begin the application, then go back, save your work and leave and come back to it later if you're interrupted or maybe don't have all the documents available when you start the application. We do certainly recommend gathering those 6 required documents before you begin, and it will just make your process a little bit smoother. The all documents will be required and all of the fields must be filled out in order for you to submit. So you will not be able to submit an incomplete application. For questions, we have LiftFund, of course, is always available throughout the application period. Our dedicated grant line with grant specialists is 800-923-9551. And we also have email sbgrants@liftfund.com if you'd prefer to reach out to us that way. And then again, the website for the program with all of this information that we're going over today is at COSAConstructionImpactGrant.com. And the recording from today's session, as well as these slides, will also be available there within the next day or two. In addition, as Caitlin mentioned, we do have 7 community partners that can help you with this application either by phone or email or through in-person assistance. And you can find all of their contact information on the website at cosaconstructionimpactgrants.com/partners. If you are wanting some in-person assistance with the application, you will need to schedule an appointment. So don't show up to their office without an appointment. The appointment is required to be sure that they will have an advisor available at the time that you're wanting to come in to assist you. So please be sure to reach out to them, and you can call or email them to schedule those appointments. And again, all of that contact information is on the website. Some additional resources that are available. So Lift Fund, of course, does have, in addition to this grant program, some small business loans at low interest rates. So you're welcome to check that out on our website at liftfund.com/loan offerings. We also have business supports and online and in-person events. And so you can find the whole calendar of upcoming events at liftfund.com/events. Or check out our business coaching resources. We have both the Women's Business Center in San Antonio as well as Launch SA. So again, on the website, you'll find the eligibility criteria, the required documents, the scoring system, the program timeline, and some frequently asked questions. So let's jump over to the site now and let me show you where you can find all of those pieces. So right here at the top, you'll notice the partners link, which will take you to the list of those community partners that are available to assist you with the application, as well as all of their phone numbers and addresses, and a map here so you can identify the partner who's closest and most convenient for you. The site is also available in Spanish just by clicking the Español button here in the top right corner. So you'll see all of this there if you prefer Spanish. So right at the top, you have the Apply Now button. And again, the application period does close on next Tuesday, the February 28th at 5 p.m. Right at 5, the portal will shut down. The grant amounts, again, are between $10,000 and $35,000. The eligible expenses that the funds can be used on are listed here. The eligibility requirements are listed here. And here's the tool that I mentioned that you can use to check if your business does meet those SBA size standards. The size standards are based on your NAICS or business activity code, and may be either related to your amount of annual revenue or the number of employees that you have. So if we look up our NAICS code, for example, I'll pretend that I'm a restaurant and or a snack bar, cafe maybe. And so I'll just put in my NAICS code and hit search. And it's going to ask you what my average gross sales are. And I'll say $1 million. And then it's going to tell me right here very easily within a few clicks, yes, you do meet the size standards for your type of industry. I'll also point out here, we have a tool where if you want to check if your business is within the eligible qualified construction zone for this grant, you can check your address. So for example, if we put in Lift Fund's address, we can see that no, unfortunately, Lift Fund is not within one of the construction zones. So this is a great way to check before you get into the application whether you will qualify geographically, at least, for this program. Once you begin the application, it's going to ask you to go through this step already. And so if you are eligible, you'll be able to continue on to fill out the rest of the forms. If you're not within one of those eligible construction zones, you will not be able to proceed to the rest of the application. And then again, that list of those ineligible industries, again, it's a very limited list, just 9 or 10 industries based on the NAICS code. These are payday lenders, sexually oriented businesses, gambling, liquor stores, that type of thing. Those are listed here. Then the list of those 6 required documents you can find here in this section. The scoring system that has that full breakdown of each of those 4 categories is here. And you can find the more information on the equity score by clicking here. If you want to look up the equity score for your business address, you can do that. So you'll, excuse me, go to combined score, and then right here with the little magnifying glass, you can search for your address. And then it will give you a color key. So I'm in this dark purple zone, so I can see that my equity score is an 8. And then the program timeline, again, you'll have each of the 4 phases. So the application period, the review phase, which goes until mid-May, the award notification phase, which goes until the end of May, and then lastly, the deposits, which goes until early June. For businesses who are selected to receive funds, you will be asked also to complete in January of 2024 and 2025 a follow-up survey just to see how your business is doing and how these grant funds helped you and impacted your business to hopefully keep thriving and succeed. Lastly, we do have some additional resources. So if you're needing some assistance with your utilities for the business, we have the links to those programs here. We also have the city's contact information for referrals to additional resources for small businesses, both a phone number and an email. And then lastly, a list of some other grants that you may qualify for. These are not programs that are offered through Lift Fund or the city, but just some external organizations also offering opportunities for small businesses. And then lastly, we have down here the 3 info sessions, and you'll see again the slides and the recording of this session within the next day or 2. You have another link here to that partner page, so multiple ways to get to it through the site. And then we have some frequently asked questions. The one question that we get a lot that I want to draw your attention to is, if I'm selected, is this grant taxable? Yes, these funds will be taxable, and Lift Fund will issue a 1099 next January if you receive the funds this year. So with that, I'll pause and see if you all have any questions that I can answer for you. Please feel free to post your questions in the Q&A section, and we can answer them either messaging you back or answering them out loud. So please don't be shy. This is our final session, so we definitely want to provide all the information that we can. Of course, we are still available all throughout the application period and afterwards. To reach to Lift Fund at 800-923-9551 or emailing us at sbgrants@liftfund.com. I can go through a few of these frequently asked questions too, which may answer some of the things that you all would like to know about. Oh, great. It looks like we do have one question, and let me find that answer for you here. I see it's in Spanish, so let me get that information.
Lilian, the question's asking if there's somewhere in person that they can go to get help with the application.
Oh, thank you, Valerie. Yes, so for in-person assistance, including in Spanish, you can visit any of the 7 partners that are listed here for help in Spanish. So you'll just need to call them to get to schedule an appointment to go in if you'd like to meet in person. Thank you, Valerie. And then yes, so if you are a franchise, as long as you're not the franchisor, so if you own a location of, a hotel or a fast food chain, as long as you meet all of the other eligibility requirements, you are eligible to apply, as long as you are not the franchisor. So as long as you aren't, Hotel Super 8 yourself, but you own one franchise location of them, that's fine. Okay. So if you have multiple locations, you can apply for both as long as they meet all of the criteria. You would not, however, if one of them meets the criteria and one doesn't, then you would only be able to submit for that one location that is meeting the criteria. Yes, oh, great question. So if you're either your tax returns or your business formation documents have a different address than where you are currently, that's not at all a problem. That's why we're going to request your most recent utility bill so that we know where you are today. We know a lot of people may have moved over the past few years, so not a problem at all. So the requirement for when you must have started is at least by January 1, 2021. So if you started after that, for example, in June 2021, unfortunately, you would not be eligible for this program. We do need to see that filed 2021 tax return. So that is a requirement for the program. If you don't have your filed 22 return, that's not a problem. We can use the P&L for that, but we do need to see that filed return for 2021. Yes, if you applied for the grant program recently offered through Bexar County, you are still eligible to apply for and qualify for this program. Not a problem. Great questions. One of the questions we get a lot is if I'm a sole proprietor and I maybe mostly work as a contractor for someone else, can I apply? Yes, as long as you have your assumed name certificate or DBA, you count as a business. You're filing a Schedule C tax return every year reporting your business income. So sole proprietors are eligible. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? I'll also go through some of these other frequently asked questions that we often get. Similar to the question earlier, if you have 2 totally separate businesses that are completely unrelated, they're not all under one umbrella, you can apply for both of those as long as you have meet all of the eligibility requirements for those. If you are a sole proprietor and you've been filing your Schedule Cs every year for the past few years, but you don't have that DBA, you can go out and get that assumed name certificate now. That's through the county clerk's office. You can file for it online or in person and receive that same day. So we will need that DBA, but it's okay to go get it now if as long as you've been filing your tax returns. This is a grant, it is not a loan, so if you are selected, you do not have to pay it back. And if you'd received other funding in the past, for example, through the previous program offered by the city in the fall, or PPP or EIDL funds or some other grant program, that's not a problem. You are still eligible for this grant program. We've had a lot of questions on location. So we know there are some businesses in the vicinity of construction projects that are not initiated by the city that are still very much impacting your business. Unfortunately, you will need to be in the vicinity of one of the city-initiated construction programs to qualify for this program. Okay. We'll give everyone another minute to mull over all of this information and ask any questions. But again, if you do think of a question after this session concludes, you're always welcome to reach out to Lift Fund at 800-923-9551 or email us at sbgrants@liftfund.com. And that contact information is right here at the very bottom of the website. So you can always know how to get to us if you think of a question later. I don't see any other questions, but I thank you all for your interest. I hope you'll apply, encourage you to apply. Again, that deadline is 5 p.m. next Tuesday, the February 28th. And we wish you all the best of luck and thank you for your interest. Have a great day.